Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ, Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. On the road again, and even a more crazy foreign land, Las Vegas, International Fight Week this week. Big one. Ilya Topuria, Charles Oliveira. You'd be hard-pressed to find another high-level, exciting fight in all of ass-kicking. It's a good one Saturday. It's a damn good one.
This is going to be a good one. If you really like the fight game, as far as the fight beyond the fight, the little fights that make up the whole fight, this is a good matchup to watch.
I'm working backstage. And I never do this. I never ever sneak into the arena. I sometimes I'm in the arena, sometimes I'm not. I'm gonna have to sneak in for this one.
Yeah, monitors aren't gonna do it justice.
Yeah, man. I gotta get some of the blood spray on my person to really feel.
I dare you to walk up to Daniel Cormier and just flick his ear, dude. I dare you.
I'll do it on camera. Easy.
Well, he's on camera?
I'll do it at the weigh. I'll pour a beer on him at the weigh-in show on Friday. There's no rules on that show.
Dude, do it while he's while he's talking, they're doing a freaking thing. Just walk by and just go.
Oh, and they're doing their stand-up and they're on camera.
Yeah. That's RJ Clifford. You know who that is?
Wet Willie.
Oh, if you Wet Willie him, I will buy you a brand new freaking jersey, Raiders jersey, if you freaking Wet Willie him on camera. Can we crowdsource this? Come on, guys. If he does it, we gotta freaking chip in and get him one.
Oh, I'm a whore. I'll be bought. I'm easily bought. I remember it was my sixth pro fight, I think, where our buddy Dane, he said if I knock the guy out with a head kick, he'd buy me a kegerator. So if you remember, it was the orange can. It was the one in Anaheim. I kept throwing head kicks and getting taken down.
I told you the same thing. I said I told you to buy you a smoker if you head kicked them.
And I don't head kick. I have the shortest legs in the world, and I'm a wrestler. But I kept trying it, and I kept getting taken down because I really wanted the kegerator.
Dude, freaking Junior wanted to kill you, dude.
He was so pissed. RJ, don't throw kicks.
RJ, what are you doing?
No more kicks. 3 seconds into round two. Just,
I'll get taken down. That was funny.
Coach, you understand? It makes beer go faster down my throat. It keeps you don't beer get cold. It. 73 days until Raiders opening day. 73. Nursing along, moving along. Yeah, we're in the barren wasteland right now of summer. Almost July, but it's getting closer, baby. And to fill all that time, we've been doing a lot more questions of the day. I really like that we've been bouncing around between we get it's 80-20, you guys. 20% of you are stop with the bullshit. I just want Raiders content. Can we please talk Geno Smith's accuracy? Can we please talk Maxx Crosby's defensive player of the year? And the 80% of you are oh, dick and fart jokes, do the fun stuff back and forth. We're going to cater to the minority today. Question of the day. I think this satisfies everybody. I love doing this every year. We never really get to cash in on it because we've sucked most season, especially last season. I was keeping track of all the cold takes and be oh yeah, I'm gonna get back at all these people when we have a good season. It's no, that's a segment that's buried. This year though, Soto, this is the year where all the cold takes get exposed. Question of the day. Let us know in the comments section. What are the Raiders cold takes that we should remember? I have a Google document of all the people shit talking the Raiders. Pete Carroll's too old. There's no X.
The hell was that?
Sort of leaves his phone on.
No, my phone was just sitting there. Someone's listening to
Siri?
me.
Hey Siri. Oh, see, now mine just talks.
Yeah.
So this is what I want. Let us know in the comment section, the cold takes you've heard, and do your best to put a name on it or a link, who said it, because it's not just it's been said. I want to bury these cockroaches because I feel this is the year where and this is a weird year, Soto, because we're optimistic of most seasons, but this season I feel the mainstream media and most pundits like the Raiders moves. You know what I mean? Pete Carroll, Spy Tech is very respected. Geno Smith, I think people respect him for, they're like, hey, red zone issues, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, like, I think he's underrated quarterback. Not a lot of just like blatant shit talking so far this offseason, although, I'm sure there'll be more. Let us know. What are the cold takes?
It's the same for the Raiders, at least. It's the same narrative being pushed around that everyone says the same thing. For Geno Smith, he's on a downswing. Look at like you said, his red zone numbers. We pulled apart him being a lot better in the red zone than he was last season and previous seasons. So it all depends on what you want to believe. Do you want to believe who he's been more often in his career as opposed to who he was last year with a lot of deficiencies as far as missing receivers for long stretches of time, no running game, a terrible offensive line, new offensive coordinator that wasn't all that great. So it's like you're looking at all this information. It's like, yeah, if you just look at it from the surface, oh, Geno Smith isn't all that good. Oh, Pete Carroll's old. Oh, Chip Kelly's been bouncing around. It's like you just. It's one of the reasons why I don't really like watch any type of mainstream media when it comes, especially for the Raiders or football at least. It just the analysis is just very, very vague and very weak.
Yeah, it's very surface level and kind of what the trend is. So let us know because we're gonna keep track of them, and when we start beating them, we're gonna expose all these cold takes. I had like 17 of them ready last season that I never got to use because they were all right because the Raiders sucked so bad last season. This year's going to be different. This year we get our comeuppance. This year we get our I told you so's. One of the cold takes is and it hurts to do it because he's a good friend of ours, Adam Hill. He's like, he hates running back at number 6. He's like, there's just too much. Like, he's going to be the second highest player in football. Like, if you would have went with tackle, he'd be like the 20th highest paid tackle in football, and there's a better chance he could last 10 years. And he's like, and he's made it clear, like he's like trying to be. He's not like a hot take guy. He's being very reasonable with his analysis, and a lot of what he says is true. Like he's made it. He did make some good points. But when Ashton Jeanty has like a rookie of the year season, we're gonna be like, "Fuck you, Adam. What do you know?" Even though he'd be like, "No, I said he was good. I just said the value." Like, nope, not listening to it. You piece of shit. How dare you?
You're not playing the radio game with us, okay? You're not playing the saying one thing, but at the very end, give yourself an out.
You have no idea how low we'll stoop to get one over on you, Adam.
We don't have to stoop that low. We knew what he meant. Adam, you're the man, dude. But come on, guy.
He's the
like, man. No at 6, no at 6, no at 6 for like 3 minutes at the end. But he's a good player. Like, come on, dude, really?
In fairness, he made some good points, but
he did. He did. But this is like the, and I'm not saying that Adam Hill is surface level because he's not, but it's kind of like you're taking a look at something where it's like, yes, normally you would do that, but when you take into account, guys like Todd McShay, right? And then he was the only one, but he's the only one that comes to mind that I know, so I could put a name on it. He said this is the deepest, best running back class he's ever seen. Mm. And then you take the guy who's like head and shoulders above everybody else in that draft class. Okay, yeah. It just happens to be an area of need where you were the worst at last season. It all makes sense. So it's like, I get it normally, but this is not a normal situation. The things lined up this way.
Well, the best part is, like, we're not going to know if it was the right pick after one season, right? Like, when it's that high of a draft, like when it's top 10, it needs to be a difference maker on your team for like 8 years, right? To like really validate, like, they're so fucking valuable, those picks, right? But if he has a really good rookie season, and Adam Hill said that, but he has a really good rookie season, I'm still going to be like, fuck you, Adam. See, cold takes exposed. Even though he would be correct in saying, like, we don't know if it was the right pick after one season, we're still going to throw it in his face.
Well, I mean, I don't see, from what I've heard and watched of Ashton Jeanty, I don't think he's going to like turn into like Deion Sanders or anything overnight. Mm. So if anything were to derail his career, if he has a good first season, it's going to be external, and I don't even want to say the word because I don't want to put it out there. But that's really the only thing that'll stop him from being that consistent player for
gonorrhea. Is that what you mean?
what?
Extreme gonorrhea? Is that what you're bouncing on?
Well, that's part of it. But it's going to be an external thing that happens to him that will stop him if he shows us. Because we've seen running back is a very relatable position from the college to the pros. And you can see when a guy is going to be good right away. He can be good right away. So I can see him having anywhere in between Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley rookie year. I could see him doing that. 1,400 total yards, something like that.
We're having fun with Adam. The hot takes about the cold takes about Ashton that I am most looking forward to is that the Raiders are going to ruin him. It's like, oh, he's just going to die on the vine there. What a waste. I'm like, have you seen what Chip Kelly dials up, dude? Like, have you seen what that guy is capable of?
They don't get it. They still think Chip Kelly is that, shotgun, fast break offense that he had 10 years ago. I don't know, dude. It's annoying, but that's why I don't watch that anymore. It's like, whatever.
This is the year. Or next offseason, we're going to do a whole episode of Cold Takes Exposed, and we'll actually do it. We plan on doing it every year. The Raiders we haven't been able to expose anybody. Right too much.
Chris Broussard had one too. He's like, I'm not willing to crown him. I need to see it on the field first. And we're like, oh God, dude, what are you talking about?
All right. Let us know, boys. Let us know. Your eyes and ears out there. We can't see everything. Let us know what the cold takes are, because there's nothing more satisfying than the I told you so's. Nothing. And Lord knows we're due to do some I told you so's. For the rest of the crowd out there, I'm still getting this soda. I don't know if you're still seeing it, but I'm still getting it with people that are like, Tom Brady only owns like 5% of the league. He doesn't, or 5% of the Raiders. Like, he doesn't make decisions. It's not him. He doesn't like decide that. It's like, yes. Like, in what name every organization, every political structure, every business. It's not just purely the ones ordained with authority that have influence in anything. Yeah, that's never the case, ever. And same thing here. This from The Athletic. There's a story about Sam Darnold, but they mentioned this little caveat. The Seahawks' pursuit of Darnold snuck up on many NFL observers and proceeded in rapid-fire fashion. While some believed the Las Vegas Raiders would try to sign Darnold, minority owner Tom Brady, 7-time Super Bowl winning quarterback whose opinion held great sway, was not in favor of that approach, according to a source familiar with the franchise's internal discussions. Tom Brady fucking vetoed a quarterback pickup. This is according to Michael Silver. Mm-hmm. Michael Silver's a pretty respected guy, right?
Yeah, I like his stuff. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Pretty respected reporter, right? Tom Brady vetoed a quarterback, a Pro Bowl quarterback, coming off the best season of his life.
Mm-hmm.
That's power. Yeah, that's power.
I understand it. I mean, look, we have to take a look at this logically. You have to take a look at this from a little bit of perspective. It could have been one of two things, and you tell me which is the most likely. First thing is Spytek and Pete Carroll really wanted Sam Darnold, and they went to Mark Davis and they're like, yeah, we really like this kid. I think we can get him, blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. And he says, well, run it by Tom and see what he says. And then Tom says no. Any variation of that. Or it could have been hey, this is what we have available to us. What do you think about this class? Mm-hmm. And he gave a little bit of a synopsis on each one. It could have been either one of those two things, where it's like a very preliminary thing where it's like, this is who's available. Give us your ideas on these guys, what you like, what you don't like. And or it was like a specific, we want him. What do you think?
It reminds me, like, we go back to the Shedeur Sanders thing, right? Like, we only know one thing for absolutely positive. Tom Brady did not tell Spytek, Carroll, whoever, draft Shedeur Sanders. Mm. Now, whether it was fuck him, he's terrible, he's a head case, to as he's pretty good, but it's your call, right? Like, anything in between, it could be. But we know for sure he did not say get him, because otherwise we would have had him. Mm-hmm. This case, it's gone even further, right? We knew for sure he didn't say go get Sam Darnold, because otherwise we'd have him. Now it's even a step further. Like we're starting to see little tiny details, even like closer to the core of the argument that Tom Brady is moving things. Like before, it was just process of elimination, right? You didn't get Shador. That means Tom Brady didn't ask for it. Now it's not only did he like someone else, he vetoed a pretty damn good quarterback coming off a really goddamn good season, right? So his fingerprints are all over this thing, man. Like there's still people out there that are like, no, Tom doesn't make the decisions. Tom's just minority owner. It's like, no, man, that's not the case.
Well, there's also a step further than that, which a lot of people, I mean, I haven't heard anyone talk about, that by process of kind of deducing the steps and everything, then that means that Tom Brady gave his seal of approval to Geno Smith.
Mm.
So if we didn't get somebody because Brady said no to him, that means the guy that we ended up getting, he said yes to.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a free agent. It wasn't like we just signed the guy. We had to give up something for him. So it's a lot and a pretty damn good pick. I mean, a high. It was like I think the seventh or eighth pick in the third round. So I mean, it says it shows even more confidence in Geno.
Wasn't it the third rounder we got from
for Devontae?
For Devontae, right? Wasn't that later?
Or it was the Jets. The Jets were awful, dude.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the Jets were awful. So yeah, they were only a couple of picks behind us.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes to show you that there's a lot more confidence in the league in Geno Smith than what some pundits would have you to believe.
Let's do now with that, like the hindsight of knowing what Brady did. Let's one more time like revisit, because it was like, I know it wasn't like as cut and dry as we either get Sam Darnold or Geno Smith, but it really kind of felt that way, right? Especially with Darnold going to Seattle, right, where Geno was. It feels kind of like those two guys were going to go to Las Vegas or Seattle and they swapped it, right? Again, not exactly that way. It wasn't like a one-for-one trade. Obviously, one was a free agent, blah, blah, blah. But it kind of feels, Soto, like Seattle wanted Darnold and Las Vegas wanted Gino, and we kind of just agreed to make that happen, right? So I'm going to treat it like a trade, like who won the trade. That's how I'm going to approach it, because we had just as good of a shot at Darnold. They're making almost exactly the same money. Like it's crazy. They're like almost exactly the same contract. Gino's, of course, 7 years older. So that's like the big knock on Geno. Sam Darnold, 27. Gino's 34. So that's, the win on Seattle's side right there. But when you look at their 2024 seasons, and this is, again, the best season of Sam Darnold's career by far, like not even remotely close, even though Geno's had some good seasons. Geno on the left, more completions on more attempts, not many more attempts. Higher completion percentage, almost exactly the same yards. Geno had one more yard. So we'll count that as a win. We win. Geno had one more yard. And then it goes Darnold on the other end. Yards per attempt, he had 7.9 to Geno's 7.5. Touchdown to interception is where Sam Darnold really thrived. 35 touchdowns to Geno's 21. And he had less interceptions, 12, 15 to Geno. Sacked roughly the same, a lot. And then Geno is the slightly better rusher on the feet. So when you stop and you're like, okay, was this an aberration for Sam Darnold? Is this who he is now and forever because he's been under these great regimes and got good? Or is it simply the Vikings were a complete team with great weapons, great offensive coordinator? You just kind of could plug and play any decent quarterback and you're going to get good play. Whereas Geno's had 3 years of real quality football. So I talked a lot, so I don't know what my question is, but what'd you make of the trade?
One thing you have to take a look at here in the moving forward thing is the situations that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And he being Sam Darnold is not going to a situation where he has the same weapons as he had in Minnesota that he has in Seattle. And Clint Kubiak, even though people like Clint Kubiak, he's the offensive coordinator of Seattle. He's not Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell is a better offensive mind and offensive coach.
Objectively better. Like, this isn't an opinion thing.
This is not an opinion. He's better. So when you take a look at stuff like that, you have to take a look at the story behind the story, right? Not just like, oh, well, yeah, they're about the same. Well, that was Sam Darnold's best year to Geno Smith's worst season since he became a starter again. And you have to take a look at how much better did Seattle make itself off of the season and the kind of deficiencies that the team had when Geno was there the last season. And I mean, it just points to just the longevity of solid play. And although Geno is 34, he kind of got caught in that washing machine, you know, where you kind of get just stuck and you get looked at as a backup, and you're always going to be a backup. And it took a coach with a little bit more foresight and a guy that said, hey, you know, it's all about competition. And, you know, Russ was acting like Russ and wore out his welcome, and Geno Smith just happened to be, you know, playing better at the time, and that's where he got his chance. So him sitting for 6 seasons, he does that 6 seasons less wear and tear on his body, and we'll see what he looks like. I mean, he looked pretty good, pretty mobile, and everything. He doesn't move around like a 34-year-old on the field, so it's hard to say. I mean, I can definitely say myself, I feel that the Geno Smith move was the better move. Now, I did like Sam Darnold. And when we asked the question, who should we go after in free agency? I said Sam Darnold. I think he fit.
He was both of our number one.
Yeah. He fit what Chip Kelly wants to do on his offense better than anyone else.
So if anything, we're the cold takes exposed.
No.
We're like, no, we should have had Sam Darnold.
No, not at all. Because Geno Smith wasn't a free agent. We were talking about just free agents.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not a cold take for us, because Geno Smith was not available at the time. Once it was looked at and said, look, we don't want to deal with the whole Rodgers thing. Russell, Carroll's not going to deal with that again. Jameis is Jameis. And there's all these other, like, you know, also Rands and, you know, all these other guys, right? Okay. Who can we get? Who's out there that we can get that we're comfortable with? And it was somebody that not only Pete Carroll, but John Spytek and Tom Brady were comfortable with, and they were able to make a deal with Seattle for it. So all this stuff just kind of like worked together, and that's why I think Seattle was able to get Sam Darnold so quickly, because I think there was some preliminary talks maybe with the Raiders about that, and it just kind of like said, well, you know what, if Geno is available, I would rather have him because I think he's a better player and a better leader, and he hasn't seen ghosts like Sam Darnold has on the field. And I like Sam Darnold, and I'm not trashing him, but when you take a look at all the things that Sam Darnold had going his way, and you see how his season ended when he had to do more than what he was asked to do early in the year, it was a pretty clear choice.
I hate doing this because I like there being like things being black and white and a winner or a loser. But I think this is one of those situations like, well, who won? Again, it's not a trade technically, but like who won this like quarterback pickup battle? And I think both teams got what they wanted out of both guys. I think the fits worked both ways. Like I said, Sam Darnold's 7 years younger. He's kind of a really, really good bridge quarterback for them. Like they're resetting a lot of guys. Like the defense might still be good, but you know, they lost Metcalf and some other guys. It's kind of a reset year for him. They just want someone, and he can stay there for another 10 years when they get good again, potentially, right? At least kind of like that. And then obviously Gino hooking up with Pete Carroll again, match made in heaven. They love each other. They're both probably going to be around the same amount of time, right? Where everyone's guessing Pete Carroll's going to be around probably another 3 years, being the oldest quarterback in NFL history. Probably 3 years he's got in him to kind of get the franchise up a notch, and then he'll hand it off to Patrick Graham or whoever the fuck, right? And that's probably about how much longer Geno Smith has in his prime. He'll be 37 by then, and that's especially a moving quarterback. That's, he'll start kind of probably falling off ish there. So again, it's a cop out. I want to say one side won, but it feels like both sides got what they wanted out of this like quarterback swappy do.
Yeah, and I think both sides are content with whatever outcome happens. Because they feel like, you know what, this is going to be the best situation for us. And if we got the other guy, it would have gotten even worse.
Yeah.
Because the situations are very different.
With that being said, Gino does have to outperform Sam Darnold pretty well because we gave up a third. They didn't. He's paid slightly more and he's older. So it's not as, I mean, if they're even stats and they're both like playing just as well, then Darnold wins that one. Gino does have to outplay him just because of the stuff we gave up. Ready for some really fun news?
Sure.
This is depressing. And we got we heard The Athletic have a what exactly was a orthopedist? The doctor came on.
A very well-respected orthopedic surgeon.
Okay. And he was pretty optimistic about Christian Wilkins. We've been Debbie Downers about it for a while. Like, he's back in a walking boot again. He's going to play. And if he does play, how well until he's better. And he shot some sunshine up our asses. We're like, oh, okay. You're the doctor. And it sounds pretty good. Okay. And then pro Christian Wilkins shot that in the ass. This is Tashawn Reed from The Athletic tweeting out Kyle Van Noy's Instagram story. That's Christian Wilkins, and that's a walking boot. Again, my man's back in a walking boot. I think this is the third time it went back on. It's brutal when an injury takes a step back at all, where like a boot or a cast or crutches come off and then you go back. It's bad enough when that happens. It is fucking devastating when it's a third time.
Yeah, apparently he's still experiencing pain in his foot. It's just not healing properly. And at this point, you're better off just you're tempting fate right now. You're tempting losing him for the entire season if you don't do surgery over again right now. If you do the surgery within the next week or so, he'll probably be back in like week 4 with a normal healing. He'll be back around week 4 or 5, which means another 3 or 4 weeks for him to get up to speed. And then you have the last half of the season to where you have a really primed up Christian Wilkins ready to rock. But if he's still experiencing, it's not healing properly, it's just, dude, you just got to go back in there and get it done. I mean, I was talking to you earlier about this. I think part of the reason why there was some hesitation and some kind of hesitancy is the regime change. These guys only came in February. Mm-hmm. So if you had a regime that was with Wilkins the entire time, maybe this, the surgery should have been done a little bit, or could have been done a little bit sooner, and he would have been ready, maybe even for training camp, if it would have been done in like February or March. Yeah. But the fact that he's back in the boot and the worst thing is he's still experiencing pain. That's a kick in the nuts, man.
If I'm Spytech and Patrick Graham, I am assuming he's not playing this season. Hopefully he does. But you have to plan as if he is not. With this third time in a boot, maybe another surgery, you have to game plan as if he is not part of this defense. And it hurts. But you got to. It is irresponsible of this regime to be like, no, we'll stay optimistic. It's like, no, you have to plan as if he's not going to be playing.
One of the worst things you can do is just sit around and wait and then do surgery like right before the season starts. That's just absolutely ridiculous, because he's shown you, and not he himself, but the injury has shown you that it's not progressing. So what's another 2 months going to do? I just hope they don't just keep waiting. It would be a shame.
Can Jackson Powers Johnson play both ways?
Look, man, I'm really
beast
happy.
Would JPJ be at DT? Dude, he'd be such a fucking sweet defensive tackle.
I'm really glad that Like we got like Fatu from Arizona.
Mhm.
He's freaking huge. We signed Butler, good. We got a couple of young guys, maybe even there was some talk about from Adam Butler's presser that they're doing some different things with Tyree Wilson. So that may mean that he's going to get kicked inside a little bit more. And we have the two rookies who are playing well. We don't know until they put the pads on, but who have been doing really well. So I think that's why they beefed up the inside. I mean, they signed two guys with re-signing Butler and signing Fatu, and then they drafted two guys. So maybe they were planning for it, contingency plan, something like that. But I mean, they have a better rotation now than they had in the past. But Loalu coming in and playing as well as he did, kind of just being he was a scrap heap pick off of the Colts, right? Colts they drafted him and then they cut him and then we picked him up. But I mean, we need more bodies. We need bodies, and I'm okay with it. It's I don't think it's completely devastating, but it does hurt.
It's pretty rough, dude. He's the second.
It hurts, yeah, for sure.
It's the second best player on the defense. Hey, with how tight JPJ and Max are, have him play some DT. I'll see your Travis Hunter and I'll raise you a JPJ. Both way JPJ.
He is asking for freaking to get hurt. If he plays the way he plays, he's just asking for it.
The two most physical positions. He's and the way, like you said, and the way he plays.
He's just asking for it. The way
he's gonna have a 2.5 season career, but fuck, is it gonna be amazing?
It's gonna be a firework, all right. It's gonna be nice and pretty, but it's gonna be over quick.
Dude, why can't we fucking catch a break with big money free agents? Like, the drafting terrible for years. Like, it wasn't like a Raiders curse. It was just bad. It was bad GMs. We knew Gruden was a terrible GM. The next regime was terrible. The last two GMs I think have been good drafts, right? It's not like a Raiders curse. It's just bad GMs to add bad drafts. With big money free agents, when was the last one that paid off? Like, I'm so fucking
Jerry Rice.
I don't get it, dude. Yeah, see? I
mean, look, Christian Wilkins is not panning out. Before that, it was like Trent Brown, Corey Littleton, Devontae Adams. Like, those are all bad. Joyner, that was bad. Kwiatkowski, that was bad.
None of our big money free agent signings pan out since like the mid 2000s. Like, when was the last one? Has there been one in the last 20 years? Like a big money, not like, a scrap heap guy that worked out, but like, okay, this guy's going to be a difference maker. We're going to put in some good money. This makes headlines on Sports Center. He comes to the Raiders and he's like, not even just like maybe underwhelmed, but wasn't a complete fucking flop. I can't remember the last time. Was Rodney Hudson like a big signing? Was that a big money when he came to the Raiders? Was Rodney a big money signing? Rodney Hudson?
For an offensive lineman, yeah.
Okay, so maybe Rodney.
Rodney, like, he was a starter for and a Pro Bowler and a guy that was a rock in the middle for 4 years. He was good. Donald Penn was good too.
Well, Rodney came after Donald, right?
Yeah, I'm looking a little bit further back.
So a couple linemen in the last 20 years, we paid good money and they panned out. Like, that's it.
Well, Semele was pretty good while he was here, but that's nothing crazy. Nothing really that was like eye popping. No.
I miss Rodney. He was arguably the best player on the team for a while.
Yeah.
Speaking of the best players on the team, these lists, it's not so much where they put them. I think there's like some more context with it. That's fun. But CBS does their top 100 players going to the next season. Have you looked at the list yet? Am I going to surprise you, or have you?
I have not.
You have not. Okay. Want to guess?
Sure. What am I guessing?
Which Raiders are on there? and where-ish?
Probably Max and Brock.
Bingo, bango. Nailed it.
I would say probably Max, probably in the high teens to mid 20s ish, and Brock maybe 10 behind that.
They put Brock ahead of Max.
Oh,
If you believe it. They put Brock Bowers at 22, Maxx Crosby at 28.
okay, yeah, I had it flipped.
Does anyone else deserve to be on there? The only thing I'm thinking is kicker or punter. I don't think there was any kicker or punter.
No. It's not about the best at their position. It's the best players in the league.
Yes.
So, no, I don't think so.
Just those two. But a couple things. And again, like we keep trying to add context. Brock Bowers had the greatest rookie tight end season ever, and it's not even close, with fucking squat. With the worst offensive coordinator in football, the worst running game in football, maybe the worst quarterback room in football, and he still was uncoverable, caught everything, and other than touchdowns, destroyed everything out there, right? That's how goddamn good this kid is. Everyone above him, all the other 21 players, right, were all players on really good teams, other than Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett was number 2 on the Browns. Other than that, it's all like –
he doesn't count. Myles Garrett's different.
Right? Other than Myles Garrett, everyone ahead of Brock Bowers are all – there's like 4 Chiefs players, 4 Lions, two Bengals, but, it was kind of their off, Joe Burrow and Jamar, like that's it. But like that's the other part of this too. It's like, oh, these guys are so good because they're on great teams, right? And they play better. And like they had Patrick Mahomes number 1, right? Because it's Andy Reid. They went to the Super Bowl, ownership, all that shit, right? For Brock Bowers to be the highest tight end, number 22 overall, despite being in one of the worst situations a tight end could be in. As amazing as his numbers were last season, he's even better than that. He is even better than the numbers said.
Brock having the season he had last season was like somebody breaking the sound barrier or the land speed record in like an 83 Regal. It's like he had so much turmoil and so little help around him. He didn't have a running game whatsoever. He, didn't have like a true number 1 style guy to take a lot of attention away from him. He was still like the target that everyone had to pay attention to. He had just a mishmash of just subpar quarterbacks. He had a really bad offensive coordinator. So it's like he had it tough, and he still produced. So I can see that. I mean, having said all that, yeah, I can understand that.
He was the first guy, again, other than Myles Garrett, to be from a bad team and the highest ranked guy. It's a big deal. And then with Maxx Crosby, like they made a pretty good point. He's like they said he came in at number 28. He was the 5th defensive end on the list. But they did say a healthy Maxx Crosby is a defensive player of the year candidate. So even though he was 28, it's like, and that's how much respect, and vice versa, right? That's how much Maxx Crosby, I think, is respected in this league, where he came off the worst season that he's had because it was all injury riddled, kind of just gave up on this defense with everybody hurt. And they still ranked him 28th, despite the fact he's like everything was going against him too.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair. I don't have a problem with it. I wouldn't have a problem with it if it was switched 22 and 28 the other way, but I'm fine with it. I think it's about right for where they are. I mean, a healthy Max having another, Max full season, he's probably in the low teens to just outside the 10, maybe around there.
He was ranked number 11 last season.
Honestly. Yeah, there you
go. One more. Speaking of Seahawks coming to the Raiders, DK Metcalf, obviously no longer a Seahawk. Steelers got him. Pete Carroll Did you see him on Marshawn Lynch's podcast?
I saw like clips of it. Yeah.
So there's a one little tiny blip of it. That's really like there. Like I would think there'd be more. It was kind of entertaining, but as far as like news stuff, I thought I'd get a little bit more. But this was the closest thing to news that I got out of it. Marshawn Lynch was talking about Pete Carroll and going to the Raiders, and he said Lynch is like he tried to bring everybody up out of that building, try to get him to the Raiders, and then Robinson, who's Michael Robinson's the co-host, he goes, "I know. Remember DK wanted to go there." Talking about the Raiders, and they just glanced over and kept going. Like they just like, I feel like he said that and he wasn't supposed to say that. It's like, okay, dude, like let's keep that under wraps. Like let's keep our leverage where our leverage is. Michael Robinson was just straight up. He's like, yeah, DK wanted to go to the Raiders. She's like, ooh, there was our ex.
Yeah, I don't know, man. People say a lot of things in the heat of the moment. I think right when Geno gets traded, TK's like talking to him. Oh man, Geno went back with Pete. Man, I want to go there too. Mm-hmm. Does he really want to go there? Did he really want to go there for what they were willing to pay him? I don't know. This is kind of over the shoulder kind of thing. Like, just toss it over the shoulder. To me, at least.
That's fair. But I will take an offhanded remark and run with it 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Why not?
That's that's the biggest hole in the offense, right? Really, minus like probably a really good starting guard, and then an X, like a true X is. I mean, what else? I mean, dude, I keep talking about like how bad our offense was last season, but like I keep looking at the offensive roster. I'm just like, okay, left tackle good, center good, right tackle good, quarterback we're set, running back forget about it, tight end, backup tight end. Awesome. Slot receiver, great. Young up-and-coming wide receivers, cool. Depth at running back, we're set. It's just an X. It's like, I blinked, and it's like if this O-line can be average, right? It could outplay the sum of its parts a little bit. We're going to put up some points, man. Like, we're going to really put up some points. I'm not going to say, top 5 offense, but like, we're going to shit, dude. Like it's either the O-line crumbles or everyone coming in at once just didn't mesh, right? New quarterback, new OC, rookie running back. That happens sometimes, right? Like sometimes it takes a couple seasons to get a system in and to mesh. That's a possibility. But outside of that, dude, like what's going to stop this offense?
I mean, I have a little bit of news. So Kolton Miller's probably going to get paid. Mm-hmm. I would say more than likely that's going to happen. He hasn't been called for a holding penalty in 44 games. Kappa, he was injured last year. He didn't play his best, but even with all that, he wasn't called for a holding penalty all season last season. Mm-hmm. The kind of eyebrow raising thing is one of the things that people don't know about Pete Carroll is he is very bullish on his offensive line play. And that's one of the things that people forget about all the players getting drafted out of USC when he was there. A lot of those players were offensive linemen, and they went up in the draft too. They weren't like 7th, 8th round guys. They were like top of the draft guys. Mm-hmm. He loves offensive line play. He does not like penalties. The team has been pleasantly surprised with the play of Charles Grant. And as well as DJ Glaze played last season, he was called for 6 holding penalties. Mm. So I'm not saying that that Grant's going to beat him out, but DJ Glaze can be on the hot seat if he starts committing a lot of penalties. Mm. And there's a big if, a huge if Charles Grant does improve to a point where they feel comfortable with him out there, and DJ Glaze continues to have all those holding penalties, you can see a quick switch, man, because Pete Carroll doesn't play that mess.
Ready to do some what up Windbags?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Why not? Fuck it. True Raider 22. Henry Ruggs apologizing years after the wreck says to me that it was forced. He'll end up in Kansas City. Jacob swears he's getting some payment for pushing Ruggs' NFL comeback. Yeah, this is a sensitive one. I mean, I don't think there's any point where a family would want to hear from Ruggs, right? Maybe it's therapeutic for Ruggs to get that off his chest. Maybe it was just, I'm not saying because of the time that went by for him to finally apologize is a sign that it was forced. I think, like, when else is he going to do that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's going to show up at their door and like, I don't know.
I mean, look, even he's going through a trial. He's not going to go out there and, that's not the point to say that. And when he does get convicted and he gets sent to jail, like his life is changing too.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of give him a pass on not saying anything then. It doesn't necessarily mean that, yes, he was forced to do it this time. He was given the platform to speak about his mistakes. And this is the first time he was given that public platform since he was incarcerated. So yeah, I can see that. I mean, to say that this means that, it just, I don't know. I get that you're upset with the guy because of his poor choices and everything, but I mean, we didn't really do much to kind of steer him away from doing that. No pun intended. Gruden kind of let him do whatever he wanted his rookie year, him and Arnett. So I don't know, man. That's I don't want to touch that any further.
Yeah, that was a depressing one. I don't know why you put that in there, Soto. What were you thinking?
You know what? I just want to bring the whole show down.
Heaven forbid we have too much fun on here. I kid, obviously. I put it in there. Jeremiah Rose, 4681. I missed the swear jar. Plus, any news on the studio? It's been a while. So first one, I think the swear jar, it ran its course. Why did we put it in? We put in the swear jar for... There's a specific reason.
I think we were just losing so much. That was like the last part of the first full or the only full season of Josh McDaniels.
Okay.
So I think we were losing a ton, and we're just kind of like,
We're just swearing so much because we're just so goddamn pissed at
we just didn't care, I think. We didn't care. Like, whatever.
Yeah. Just kept cursing too much. Yeah, it was fun. I don't know if we could do it again. We need a good reason to bring up the swear jar because this is a swearing podcast, right? Like we fuck around, right? And in the studio, so peel the curtain back. I was going to start a podcast studio with a friend of mine, and it would have been like perfect. Like, oh, we'll do the Windbags there. Like, it's going to do other podcasts and some TV stuff and a bunch. He's a filmmaker, or is going to do like we would have like the best podcast studio ever. Like, it's for a broadcast, and we would have been able to do the pod in there. That fell through. And then I moved from Long Beach to Huntington. And then it just kind of like, I'm on the road so much. I'm literally in Las Vegas now. Wouldn't be able to do it all that often. I fly back on Sundays on game days. So post shows would have been, it just kind of, you know what I mean? It's, I kept talking and you called it the whole time. So I kept talking myself into it because all like the really, really big podcasts, almost all of them with 50,000 subscribers are all in a studio, right? And you can tell it's like, yeah, it's like nice production quality and the audio's great and they got graphics and a green screen or a background. And they're both in this, and there's multiple people in there together. It's like, yeah, it does look fucking cool, man. Like, it really does. But like, we got to 10,000 subscribers without it. We're not really a polished crew. Maybe one day, but.
Well, it's also the main thing that those podcast people do, right? I think this is the third thing I do, and this is the third thing you do, right? Or maybe even fourth. So yeah, I mean, it's just
for me, it's somewhere between my Sirius XM show and giving hand jobs out under bridges. Like, it's somewhere in that hierarchy. It's way down there.
$15 a man. Is that what Norm Macdonald would say? At $15 a man.
Back off, Antonio. This is my dick. Wee.
Come on, man. I'm buying you. I made $450.25. It's like, who paid 25 cents? All of them. God, Norm Macdonald, man. God, he was so good.
God bless him. Last one. This was one of our best questions of the days. We asked, who's the hottest sitcom star? We got a lot of responses. That was a tough one. My favorite one was from Akenta Strom. Ooh, that's a tough one. All the hot stars that came to mind were in dramas. The only hot one I can think of from a sitcom is John Stamos.
He was dreamy. Uncle Jesse.
Topanga, but yeah, there ain't no wrong answer as long as y'all don't name a dude. To each his own. Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Saved by the Bell.
I brought her up. I was like, oh, Tiffany Amber Thiessen and Christina Applegate.
Going old school, Jeremiah Rose, Suzanne Summers, Three's Company.
I mentioned her too.
Catherine Bach, the Daisy Duke. Daisy Duke, right? A lot of Christina Applegate in there as well. Janet from Good Times. There's some quality ones. Yeah, there's some quality ones. And it's a good one too because it's like the super smoking, like slutty porn star supermodel looks. They're all like in dramas or soap operas, like Mexican soap operas. Good God Almighty. It's a fucking porn convention. But
anybody on the Spanish speaking weather channel, any one of those, dude, Jesus Christ.
Sunny and hot, 365. All right, that's it for us. The next show, it'll be 4th. So do we want to record the show? No, we'll do it regular. We'll record Wednesday night, do it on Thursday, then we'll have 3rd of July to watch it and 4th of July after. Yeah,
makes sense.
No reason to change things up. We'll see you guys then. And until then, knock on wood if you're with me. Hey, you made it to the end of our video. Great job. I know you want more. Go ahead and click the next video. And if you're feeling crazy, go ahead and subscribe.